All right, let's see this one here. Tired passengers, stakeholders in a fix over skyrocketing international airfares. INEC to print materials for rerun ahead 2023. 2023, Zamfara Council of Lamas pledges support for Tinubu, Matawale, flood, fear of cholera spreads in states. Still from Daily Trust newspaper, Buhari government promised to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, but threw 133 million into poverty, Shehu Sani. Quote equates Babaji Lawal of 544 million naira grass cutting scandal. Do we have more here? Yes, NBS reports insecurity. Energy crisis plunge 133 million Nigerians into poverty.
All right, from the Daily Post this morning, headlines: lack of economic productivity, reason most Nigerians live in poverty. That's coming from an expert. And here, Kano PDP, court will decide whether you or Abacha won Guber ticket. That's Bello to Wali. 2023, Peter Obi vows to lift 130 million Nigerians out of poverty. 2022 floods, UN donates $10.5 million to Nigeria for food, shelter, and water. More headlines from the Daily Post this morning. We have this: unknown gunmen kill Enugu former commissioner and brother. Okay, 544 million naira scandal. EFCC to appeal ex-secretary to the government of the Federation, Babaji Lawal's acquittal. More from the Daily Post this morning. Wike commends Buhari for releasing Niger Delta's allocations since 1999. We have here mob beats and strips man naked over alleged illicit affair in Ondo State. 2023, we have this one here. It says Tinubu will win Lagos, Peter Obi in Rivers, Kwankwaso in Kano. That's coming from Kingsley Moralu there. Police recover arms and ammunition as two suspects flee in Delta. More from the Daily Post. Ekiti, Oyebanji swears in new commissioners and special advisors. 1 day to the World Cup. The World Cup starts in Qatar tomorrow. Who will win the World Cup? We'll get to know.
Taking a look at the Guardian newspaper, 133 million Nigerians remain poor despite sharing $700 Abacha loot. US backs INEC on beavers, threatens visa ban on election riggers. Stakeholders caution against further taxes on consumer goods. A tiger's murder. Police stole my statement, coerced me to sign theirs. Chidima alleges. Some more from there. Ebola outbreak in Uganda worsens amid hope for vaccines. 97 days to election. Obi, Tinubu, Atiku polarize Southeast. 2023, INEC to take full delivery of beavers. By December, Lalong's aide resigns as gunmen kill 10. Buhari commissioned Port Harcourt Law School complex. Lots Wike, UN releases $10 million to support Nigeria flood victims and why we don't interfere with NBS data. Federal government alleged $544 million, million naira, beg your pardon, grass cutting scandal. Court acquits ex-SGF Lawal. Orders, and we must act urgently to avert Nigeria's collapse, says Ighodalo.
All right, moving straight to the Punch newspaper this morning, we have this lead story: campaigns pleased to arrest, prosecute billboard poster vandals, says it's criminal to destroy campaign posters, billboards, arrest made. Here, INEC reserves 93.5 million ballot papers for presidential runoff. Federal government gets another $20 million Abacha loot from U.S. We sacrificed comfort, avoided distractions to back first class. This coming from a set of twins. One chance robbers compound them commuters' woes, target bank details, wipe off savings. Police reopen Oyo chemical spill probe after the Punch report. And more here, court discharges ex-SGF Lawal. EFCC set to appeal. We'll be joined by Austin Idumu now to make some sense from these headlines this morning. and we'll get to open the phone lines later on to hear from you, for you to share your thoughts. The phone lines will be 0705 500949. In case you're a first-time listener, 0809 70949. Austin, good morning. It's good to have you on the Break of Dawn Newspaper Review.
Hello. Yeah, Chike, good morning, and thank you for having me. Tayo, good morning too.
Good to have you, Austin Idumo.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Chike, let's
start
from there.
Let's start with this story from this headline from the Punch newspaper, the lead story there for this morning. It says, police to arrest, prosecute billboard poster vandals. And it says it is criminal to destroy campaign posters, billboards, and some arrests have been made. Posters have been torn, billboards vandalized in Oyo State, Kwara State, Gombe State, Zamfara, and other states. And then recently in Ibadan, in Oyo State, we got the story of the PMS chairman in Oyo State who was arrested but granted bail. Elections have started.
Yes, elections have started. It is uncalled for that in the 21st century, 2022 for that matter, we still engage in vandalization of campaign advert materials. Whether we like it or not, this material costs money. A situation where some individual or supporters of political party will take laws into their hands by ensuring that they are defaced, most of the time brought down. It is a criminal offense, like the police have said. So let police go after them. Those that have been arrested, let them be prosecuted so that they can be made as a scapegoat as far as the issue of campaign billboard vandalization is concerned, because it's becoming one too many. It's reoccurring at an alarming speed, and I don't think if we take the stock, there will be any state in the country that will be totally exonerated from this. So we have sponsored ones. We also have the ones that are carried out by supporters of political party or supporters of candidates. So the police and other security operatives should do everything within their power to ensure that this nefarious act is promptly nipped in the bud. Because if you look at it, it costs money to be able to put this together. Apart from that too, there is an agency of government that is vested with that responsibility to ensure that that is done. So it's now good that the police is trying to wake up and be alive to its responsibility. So whichever way, let's see how it goes. They just have to do their work, because violence before, during, and after election always start gradually by vandalization of campaign material of opposition party or those that are sponsored by political party and politicians to carry out their. So it's condemnable, it is illegal, it is wrong. Let the security operative go after the perpetrators.
All right, let's move to this interesting headline here. It says the United States return another $20 million Abacha loot to Nigeria, as it says it has transferred $20.6 million to the federal government in accordance with an August 23 agreement between the governments to repatriate assets stolen by late dictator General Sani Abacha and his co-conspirators. According to a statement published by the DOJ website on Thursday, the repatriation brings the total amount forfeited and returned by the U.S. in the case to approximately $332.4 million. In 2020, the department repatriated over 311.7.
This is the latest one. Is the latest, the Abacha loot repatriation. All of these are coming at this particular point.
Now, Austin Idumo, the line is fading from your end, Austin. I think you'll find a comfortable place for us to have a very audible conversation.
Yes, is it better now?
Okay, go on, please.
Yeah, so it is good that Abacha loot is being recovered almost every time. The latest being the $20 million that the U.S. has just repatriated back to Nigeria. Arrangement has been made for the funds to fully be received by the country It has run into billions of US dollars, which means that a lot of people believe Abacha just stashed this money somewhere for Nigeria. And this recovery is also particularly more under President Muhammadu Buhari administration. Sometimes ago, the Buhari said Abacha didn't loot the country, but now most of these loot have always served as a means of project execution for this Buhari administration. So for me, this is a learning point for all the leaders in the African continent, a situation where money are stolen from our country, they are taken abroad. And before the repatriation, look at what this 20 million US dollar would have done for the US economy. How many people will have been employed in the United States of America as a result of this fund? And they are not paying us interest, they just give us the repatriated fund. Don't also forget they must have used this fund for business for the period as long as it was stashed in their country. So it's a learning point for leaders in Africa, especially political leaders. The resources of the country should be used for the good people of the country to better their life and to also rejig the economy of their various country. So the idea of taking money out of their country to other country, it is bad. It is highly condemnable. Now that this is coming, don't forget it's also going to come with a condition, or it has come with a condition where the authority that is releasing this fund will have to dictate to Nigeria what can be done with this fund, because earlier repatriation have always been misappropriated and embezzled by government officials. So we have to really think wise as leaders in the African continent, especially political leaders. You stand to gain nothing by taking away the money, the resources, the funds that are meant for development in your own country to go and develop another economy. So this has come at this time. We just hope and implore the federal government that this will be judiciously expended.
All right, let's look at this story. And from the story just analyzed now to this particular one, 133 million Nigerians living in poverty. We looked at it yesterday. It's happening, recurring again in the stories or in the news today. What do we make of this? And are we asking the right questions on ending poverty in this country?
Yes, on ending poverty in this country, we are still very far from it. That's just the truth of the matter. There's what we call multidimensional poverty index. Is at an alarming rate, even as we speak in Nigeria today. Because when we talk about multidimensional poverty, it means that people that are really poor in every strata of life, security, you don't have security, you don't have food to eat, you don't have job to do. There are so many things that culminate into multidimensional poverty. It is not just one line, so it can also be interpreted to mean extreme or abject poverty. Thank God that it is MBS that is releasing this report, because if not for the MBS, the Nigerian government would have said that, oh, this is not out of it. A lot of our people live in abject penury. If you look at 133 million from a population of, let's say, 216, estimated population of 216, which means that far more than half of the population are poor. Over 60% of the entire population in Nigeria currently live in abject poverty, the one that is being referred to economically as multidimensional poverty. So, if you look at the northern part of the country alone, about 65% of people live in extreme poverty in northern Nigeria. About 65% of this poverty index, 65% of 133 million, that is about 86 million Nigerians who is from the north live in extreme poverty. And when you also look at it, you discover that even in the southern part of the country, about 47, which represent 35% of 133, live in extreme poverty. So how do we ensure that we tackle poverty in the land with all of these resources here and there? You know, campaign is ongoing now by presidential candidates. You see private jets, chartered jets flying here and there. Can you now say that as a country we do not have the resources to take good care of our people? but it's as a result of misappropriation of this fund. That is why we live in abject poverty. Look at the poverty index of Sokoto, for example. 91% poverty index, 91%. So where do you go from there? These are people that lived below $1 per day.
Also, how did countries like India, China, come out of poverty? How did they? And how can we possibly come out of poverty? You said, looking at the proportion and the intensity now, it is even more, all right, in the northern part of the country. And so where you have hunger, where you have poverty, there is acute hunger also. We talk about malnutrition. There's even a report also of 29% of children out of school in Nigeria.
Yes, it is really alarming. When you have case of extreme poverty, you have case of hunger, you have case of school dropouts and what have you. And the issue of crime will also increase in the land. It's a pity that the northern part of the country, what they are mostly interested in is quest for power. They are not addressing the issue of insecurity. Look at President Muhammadu Buhari, for example. Sometimes ago, he did promise that he would lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within a period of 10 years. Let's look at the situation under review. How many people have been lifted out of poverty by this current administration, for example? If you look, you made mention of India and China. Let's take India, for example. It used to be the poverty headquarter of the whole world. India, perhaps because of their population, don't also forget, is the biggest democracy in the whole world. Then look at it from this angle. Over the years, a lot of people have been lifted out of poverty in India. That was the reason why Nigeria overtook them in 2020 to now become the capital, poverty capital of the world. So if you look at it from that angle, you discover that Nigeria, rather than lifting people out of poverty, people slide into poverty. Don't forget, I think around 2020, the report of extremely poor people in Nigeria was around 86 million. From 86 million to 133 million Nigeria. We suffice to say, in practical terms, that rather than lifting people out of poverty, government policies and programs have plunged more Nigerians into poverty. So this is the situation where we have found ourselves. It is not just the poverty that is the issue, but the ability to ensure that policies and programs of the government creating an enabling environment lift people gradually out of their poverty line. But what we find in Nigeria today is that more people are slipping into poverty on a daily basis. And that is not good for us as a people. So we are very far from it. Let the government do an appraisal. We said 100 million for about 10 years. Now the government will be completing 8 years by next year, which means that an average of 10 million per year. Let us do the history, both in the informal sector and the formal sector. Let's look at it. That is why I said earlier during this commentary that I'm delighted that this
coming from the MBS.
Is coming from a Nigerian government agency.
See, the truth of the matter.
Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. So it is not about the US, it is not about the opposition, it is not about the UK. It is about the problem that we are faced with. And practically speaking, if you go around town, you will see the definition of poverty. Tayo, CHIKE, people are really hungry. That's the issue. All That's right. The truth of the matter. People are really poor. They are extremely poor, and they are really hungry. There is hunger in the land.
Okay. Austin, before we leave this subject matter, I really want to ask you to shed more light on this. How can a consuming nation slide out of poverty in the next 5-10 years?
Now, CHIKE, Austin, according to the World Bank, poverty reduction stagnated since 2015 under the same regime. So what are we talking about?
So that's the issue.
This is 2022.
It's a far cry. We are not even ready. Based on the lifestyle of the government, fiscal lifestyle of the government, lack of fiscal discipline, we are not even ready. I just told you, government policies and programs leads people into poverty almost on a daily basis. Look at the figure before now. Look at the figure today. So it keep increasing. If care is not taken, we might even get to a level where we will have maybe as high as 80% of the entire population living in extreme poverty. This is a rentier economy. And under a rentier economy, we hardly produce anything. So that's the issue. The crude oil that we are good at producing, close to 80% of them, or let's say 60% of them, are being stolen. Stolen by who? Taken by who? Sold to who? And by who? That's the issue. So we are not really there. There's no effort. You know, the problem we have majorly is not as if today is not today is bad. There's no hope for today, but it looks as if tomorrow is gloom under government setting. That's just the truth. A situation where few people dominate the resources of the larger population. The wealth are concentrated. Look at the CBN Naira note redesign. You look at old Naira note that has been stashed under the ground, below the ground, where we have extreme poverty in the land, where people are hungry. That is what you have in the rental economy. Statistics have just suggested, I think last week, that the rate of foreign currency on the African continent is even more than what is in the economy of the West, which means that some of our leaders, they steal this money, they convert them to foreign currency, they hold them, they use this foreign currency to destroy their local economy. Right. So that is the major problem that we have. As bad as it is that there's no hope for today, I do not think that tomorrow is even realistic. That's just the truth.
Austin, let's move on to another discourse this morning. Now, Fayose has woken up. He's suddenly talking. And he says, negotiate with Peter Obi and Wike before 2023. He's talking to Atiku Abubakar. And you want to ask, okay, and he's saying again that Obi Kwankwaso dangers to PDP. That's coming from Fayose there, the former governor of Ekiti State, urging the PDP to negotiate with the Labour Party presidential candidate ahead of the 2023 elections. He also urged the PDP leaders to settle the crisis with Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike's faction of the party. And he also issued the call while stressing that the PDP might not win the Southeast during the presidential elections. Well, it's an SOS call from a former governor of Ekiti State. That's Ayodele Fayose there. And he's suddenly talking now. Was his silence strategic?
Well, perhaps the silence was strategic. A lot of them, especially for is still having soft spot for the PDP and their candidate. The call is just to re-echo the popular belief of so many Nigeria and even some stakeholders within the PDP. You cannot claim to want to rescue the country and there is this issue of lack of fairness in your own party. Charity begins at home. You have to put everything in order. The agitation by Wike is very simple. And in my view, I think it's a legitimate agitation. Just about 3 days ago, Atiku Abubakar did say that about 70 heads of security chiefs in Nigeria are from the north. So he criticized Buhari lopsided appointment, especially as it affects security, citing the issue of nepotism. But also look at your own party, the PDP. A presidential candidate is from the north, the national chairman is from the north. And some people came up and said, no, it has never really happened like that before. Let there be equity, let there be fairness, let that point us to justice. Let the national chairman go to the other half of the country. And you find it very difficult to do that. And you have the temerity to talk about the issue of nepotism. So he that lives in a glass house does not have to throw a stone. So Ayodele Fayose call is a clarion call for the PDP. It is not as if the PDP or Atiku Abubakar do not know what to do, but they find it very difficult to know what to do what is expected. And most of the time, it is not about who is right. It is about what is right. So they have to look at it very critically. As far as I'm concerned with the crisis in PDP, and the reluctance on the part of Atiku and his camp, I feel they are not ready to win the election. That is my personal opinion. All right. As far as they are concerned. Because if you take Wike away with the Obi factor in the south, you discover that PDP at the end of the day will even get lesser votes. So they have to put their heart in order. That is what we are talking about.
Kwankwaso seemed to be the underdog here. And nobody is... many people are really not looking towards him, and some will say he might just be the joker come 2023.
Yes, I told told you earlier before now that people like Kwakwaso were not in the race to win this presidential election, but they want to pull the Omishori stunt in Osun State. Okay. You understand? I hope you still remember that. I think in 2018 or so.
The Maradona style.
Yes, not necessarily that they want to win this election, but they want to look for a way to be a determining factor to whoever that will emerge at the end of the day. So they want to have a say. So Kwakwaso can do well in the northern part of the country, especially Kano State, because his party is also having crisis in Kano State. It's because of the size of his party. That is why we are not hearing so much about it. So they have to manage their crisis very well, especially that of the PDP. Because if PDP refuses to manage this crisis well, whether you like APC or not, they will most likely retain power come 2023. And I've always said this about a political party or a government that is in power that is not doing well. Whether a government that is not doing well will continue is largely dependent on the opposition party. Examples are there. You understand? So it largely depends on the opposition party. Look at 2015 in Oyo State, for example. Not as if people wanted to vote the incumbent government at that time, but because the opposition could not come together and the incumbent governor for the first time had to win the re-election in office. So for me, even if you criticize the government that the government is not doing well, if the opposition is not ready to take over power, there's nothing the people can do. So it is not only about rigging a law. That is why the opposition had to put their acts in order. And that is their problem. That is their own cup of tea. If at the end of the day they are not able to achieve that. But I will conclude this morning on this part that the PDP should not underrate Wike. If they will underrate Wike and his group to their peril, that is just the truth of the matter, because this is politics. Anything will come to the table. So the article camp should summon the political courage to do the right thing that the other people they are asking for within the PDP.
All right.
So the call by Fayose is a clarion call as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, Austin, just yesterday, while analyzing with Prof, I said, if you look at the body language of Wike and the APC presidential candidate, if you also, match that with what Adam Soshomole said just yesterday, one may just, opine that Wike is a little bit, how will I put it now, sympathetic to the cause of the APC presidential candidate. We may not be able to, to look at that now as we go on another break. When we get back, we talk about Babachir Lawal and corruption fights in Nigeria.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Ẹ̀yin tèmi àtúntì gbèdé o lójú ẹsẹ̀ tó ń gbóná pẹ̀lú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. Ayẹyẹ tó yílẹ̀ ayé yẹn padà látọwọ́ Glow ní gbàgede tó kún fún àwọn ẹ̀bùn jàǹkànjàǹkàn fún jíjẹ. Ilé ogún tuntun. Ọkọ̀ mẹ́rìnlélógún tuntun. Ẹ̀rọ ọgọ́rùn-ún kan tó ń pèsè iná. Ẹ̀rọ ìrọṣọ ọgọ́rùn-ún méjì. Ẹ̀rọ afẹ́tẹ́gùn tó ń gbaná sára ẹgbẹ̀rún kan. Àtàwọn ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ẹgbẹ̀rún ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá. Ṣé àti tẹ *611# láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn kó o sì jẹ nínú ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glow Festival of Joy. Ra dátà tí ó tó ẹgbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ọgọ́rùn-ún náírà lásìkò ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí. Ó dẹ̀ lè jẹ̀bú ilé tó o bá dẹ̀ ra ìwé ìpè tàbí dátà láti ọgọ́rùn-ún sí ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàá náírà lóṣooṣù lọ́sẹ̀ẹsẹ̀ àbí lójoojúmọ́. Wàá ní àǹfààní àti jẹ ẹ̀bùn ọkọ̀ tuntun ayọ́kẹ́lẹ́ kan pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀bùn tó ká màmá. Má kàn rẹpẹtẹ kó lọ́nà gẹ̀rẹ̀.
Tẹ *611# ní báyìí láti darapọ̀ kó o dẹ̀ máa jẹ lọ. Ìfilọ́lẹ̀ yìí ń bẹ láti oṣù kẹwàá ọdún 2022 títí di oṣù kìíní ọdún 2023. Àdéhùn àti àsọtẹ́lẹ̀ ó ń bẹ o.
Glow Unlimited. So, here's exactly what 7UP's Fido Dido thinks about life. That's right. Fido has no time to think, and overthink life. Fido just does Fido. Fido likes to chill out on billboards and sip several cans, bottles, and glasses of 7UP. In fact, when Fido isn't sipping 7UP, he's drinking it. Fido chooses to be a black and white character who gives the world 1,000,000,001 colors. And when Fido doesn't feel like talking on radio, he gets people like me to talk for him. Fido is Fido, and you should be you, because nothing shall pass.
7UP. Be you. Nothing sure pass. 7UP. The diff is clear. Dear fellow citizens, politicians and political parties have started campaigns. Shouldn't we campaign too? Yes, I mean you, the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We deserve better. Don't you think so? I don't need to remind you of the harsh economic conditions we live in. We need to campaign to our brothers, our sisters, neighbors, and for a token, you can even campaign on 32 FM, either as an individual or a business. Government can only be oppressive as long as citizens are quiet. Lend your voice. Sponsor a message for a token on radio. Call Aramide on 0704 426 3290. 0704 426 3290. For more details, let's occupy the office of the citizen.
Trailblazer Academy and Edu Consult, an ultra-modern tutorial center situated in a conducive learning environment. With Trailblazer Academy, admission into universities and other higher institutions of learning is made easy. Trailblazer provides qualitative A-level lectures to secondary school leavers willing to gain admission into 200 level in the university through direct entry. Student center lectures for students preparing to write their WAEC, NECO, GCE, UTME and post-UTME. Students also benefit from career path counseling, computer training and admission support. All these are provided to students at minimal charges. Trailblazer Academy and Edu Consult is located at kilometer 3 opposite Ajorosun Garden City, Oduoba, Moniya Isenyi Road, Ibadan. Call 08165999425 or 09047051634. Trailblazer Academy and Edu Consult. Honesty, integrity and excellence is our hallmark.
Ọlọ́run wòlíì Sàmódù àlọ́ Adámímọ́gò máa rìnrìn agbára bóyá ká lọ gbàre wá.
Ìsọjí ọjọ́ mẹ́sàn-án pẹ̀lú dedication Adámímọ́gò Jesus City ló máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. Adámímọ́gò Global Convention ọjọ́ ayọ̀ ti 2022. Àkòrí tí Ọlọ́run fún wòlíì rẹ̀. Prọfẹ̀sà Sàmódù àlọ́ Adámímọ́gò ìtúsílẹ̀ pátápátá. Látọjọ́ Friday 25th November this Sunday 4 December ní o. Iṣẹ́ agbára ọlọ́kọ̀ ìjọ̀kan máa ṣe pẹ̀lú ìpè Ọlọ́run lórí àwọn ìránṣẹ́. Àwọn olórí ẹ̀mí bíi sí aláwìyé àlùkò. Bùkọ́lá Akí Adéṣẹ́wọlé Jésù. Esther Ìgbẹ́kẹ̀lé. Ìlàjà Kétódì Ọlọ́run Ọ̀sánbẹ́. Adéyínká Aláṣeyọrí. Pásítọ̀ S. Ọládélé CAC President Worldwide. Prọfẹ̀sà Sàmódù àlọ́ Adámímọ́gò. Wọ́n máa súre fún gbogbo èèyàn. Àǹfààní one-on-one counseling tó máa wá o. Ní Jesus City ti Adámímọ́gò tó wà ní Ìbẹ̀jú Lẹ́kì Ẹ̀pẹ́ Expressway. Ìlàmìjà Village. Beside Alaro City Lega. Ẹ̀rí ọjọ́ ayọ̀. Àjọ máa sọ ni.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back from the commercial break. 32 FM 94.9 weekend edition of the Break of Dawn newspaper review. Just before we took the break, I spoke about Babachi Lawal exonerated over 554 million naira grass cutting fraud. Justice Charles Ogbaza of the High Court of Justice of the Federal Capital Territory has discharged a former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachi Lawal. Osana Duma, when you saw this story, what was your reaction?
Yes, when I saw the story, I wasn't happy. I felt it would be a major setback for the fight against corruption in Nigeria. So if you look at it, that is what had just happened. But come to think of it, let's even look at the merit of this case. The case, Babachi Lawal was discharged and acquitted. Discharged on one hand, meaning that there was lack of diligent prosecution. Then acquitted on the other hand suggests that he really has no case to answer. So if you look at it, the judge held that EFCC could not establish a case, a prima facie case against Babachi Lawal, who awarded the contract. You see, there was this presidential initiative from the Northeast. According to the court now, the information available to the court, it was not Babachi Lawal who awarded that contract. There was a ministerial tender board that vetted and approved the contract. The judge further said that EFCC failed to link Lawal, that is Babachi Lawal, with the Bureau of Public Procurement, which is BPP, which issue a certificate of no objection to the contract before it was awarded. So there is this issue of connivance. There was a ministerial tender board who sat over the contract, who awarded the contract, who approved and vetted the contract. Then EFCC could not also link Babachi Lawal because this contract also passed through the public procurement. So a certificate of no objection was issued. So according to the information available to the judge, he did say that in all of these documents, Babachi Lawal cannot be pointedly linked to some of these approvals that were sought for the contract. So that was the reason why the judge had to acquit him of this case. So I've always said this in a case like this, that anytime something like this happens, it does not mean that the fellow is not culpable or not guilty. A lot of things has to also go into place. Of course, there is this issue of sentiment, emotion. Like I told you, I felt bad. I know a lot of Nigerians will also be disappointed. The court is not a Father Christmas. So the EFCC has promised that they will appeal this case. Let the case go to the appeal and let's see how it goes. But the judge or the court will always award judgment based on valid proof of evidence. According to the court, the EFCC cannot prove this case beyond reasonable doubt, and they cannot link Babachi Lawal. After all, it's not the Babachi Lawal that is the chairman of the ministerial tender board. It's not Babachi Lawal that is the chairman of Bureau of Public Procurement.
Yeah,
so a lot of
you said a lot of Nigerians are disappointed.
For this contract in Nigeria, we are talking about poverty. Over 500 million, over $500 million was used to clear grass, for presidential initiative for the Northeast. We are talking about poverty. It's more in the north. They use over $500 million to clear grass for very poor people. You look at the way we are in this country.
Aren't we just
so
joking?
The case is going to appeal. Let's see how it goes.
Austin, you not go and cut grass. Money did there.
That's the issue. So it's really painful when we wake up to read headline like this.
Another disappointment
in the paper.
Here is that,
setback to the fight against corruption.
This has taken many years.
That meets the eyes.
This has taken many years, and we feel that once again they've just wasted our time. And like you said, the corruption fight is.
They just wasted our time.
Oh boy.
But Tayo, what were you expecting? Were you expecting a conviction? The case is a technical case, like what Austin just reeled out now. Who awarded the contract? What did the Bureau of Public Procurement say about it? No objection. So what were we expecting?
Sad reality.
The issue is certificate of no objection. So it's not just a case of Babachi Lawal. If you take it from the face value, you would just say, Babachi Lawal should go to jail or what have you. But I just told you the court is not a Father Christmas. They work with document, information, evidence available at their disposal. They said that the 11 witnesses that were called for this case could not prove beyond reasonable doubt that Babachi Lawal had a hand in the award of this contract. His company by Prozi just took the contract, they executed the contract, and what have you.
Okay.
So the case is going to.
So we all agree that we can use $500 million to clear grass. So we agree that's no problem.
Yes, for a country whose people are very poor, extremely poor, people that cannot make ends to meet. We are talking about multidimensional poverty.
Let's hear from you, dear listener. 009 7000 949 0705 5000 949.
Bola Tito Amokwe, Shitu Ajibade, Sherifa Usman. Good morning to you all and the reality comedian. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from. Kindly speak up.
I'm quite agree that people are looking for in this country. But this issue of poverty doesn't start from the administration of President Muhammadu. My own question is, why are we still having this problem? Because you see, the people working with Mr. President, I don't know the people representing us. That is why you see, I keep complaining. You are complaining that Ibrahim is not good. He's not doing well. Who are the people representing us? I can't just understand. We are complaining about economy, bad economy, bad poverty, on grants. But you still continue having this problem. as a matter of fact, every mature Nigeria has a way of corrupting the nation. We are the problem of this country. It's not about the political party. Thank you.
Thank you for calling 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. On Facebook, we have some messages.
All right, Tololokwe Adeyemi on Facebook wrote, "Good morning. It is quite disheartening that this current APC-led federal government, who promised to lift people out of poverty, has, through their insensitivity and bad leadership style, plunged about 133 million people into poverty, according to the NBS." Hello. Good morning.
All right. Is it only federal government can lift up from poverty? What our state governors are they using our money for? The local government chairman, what are they using our money for? Every time, federal government. If our local government is good, state is good, federal will be good. About Babati Lawa, the analysis of our Austin shows that there is connider, or what we call it, there is split among our elites to defraud us in this country. It is not only federal government that can leave us from poverty. The state and local government should also responsible. Come and see how people are suffering. Have a nice time.
All right, thank you for calling. On our Facebook, Boluwatife Ademi Juwon. Good morning to you. The issue of vandalizing posters, billboards is getting out of hands, which to me is an act of criminality. And it's a long one here. Kindly turn down the volume on your radio.
Hello, thank you for coming on board, sir.
Thank you. Let's have your point.
Your analysis is highly comprehensive and logically unbiased. God bless you. You see, you did discuss about moving Nigerians from poverty level where we are. Because actually, the high rate of poverty in Nigeria, and that's why the high rate of crime in Nigeria. People are using crime now to earn their living, to put food on the table. And for us to move away from this worst-case scenario, we are to move from consumption level to production level. And that is the promise of obedient and useful movement. And I believe by next year, by God's grace, if this thing is being actualized, the movement will take Nigeria from consumption level to production level. Don't forget that I had to give advice to Atiku camp to these people. If there is conflict in Atiku camp, the movement won't be able to progress. So what you are seeing is spiritual.
All right, we have to make it snappy. 0705 5949 and 0809 7949.
According to the federal government, Ondo State has lowest poverty level in Nigeria, just as Sokoto has the highest poverty level in Nigeria.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, I'm John Joko.
All right.
Calling from Challenge, thank you. You see, the problem of PDP is when we are just trying to be economical with the truth. Ayu has not committed any offense or breached any known law, even according to the PDP constitution. And just want us to know this. The party has rotational clause, and it has to do with party offices and elective offices. If Ayu is from North Central, Atiku is from Northwest, they are not from the same because Nigeria presently operates to civil finance level. That is the point. And if Wike is sure that Ayu ought not to be there, why has he not gone to court to challenge it? From that time till now, he knows he cannot make anything out of it. Unfortunately, PDP may not have anything in next year's presidential election because even if they settle today, they are not going to make it because of the PDS group. Thank you.
All right, thank you for calling. Sulaiman Sharif on Facebook says, it is worrisome the way we practice our democracy here in Nigeria. It is not appreciable. All political parties in Nigeria are guilty of political thuggery. Being arraigned doesn't translate to being convicted until the court of law pronounces him as guilty. It is the right time for the law enforcement agencies at all levels to do the needful to curb political thuggery if they are ready to do that. And Damilola Ezekiel says, I think God wants Atiku to fail woefully. That is why he and the party chairman are doing this great mistake. Oh, okay. Your thoughts there.
The lines are 0809 7000 949 0705 5000 949 to join the conversation this morning. Let's take some messages.
All right, let's look at this one this morning. Balkis Nodiran is saying, regarding the arrest of auxiliary, it is blatant ignorance and unwarranted resentment. Hello, good morning. Okay. And she went ahead to say, I wouldn't want to say he's culpable or not, but all political parties in Nigeria, with no exception, engage in political thuggery and destroy political parties' billboard and posters. If he's guilty, let him be brought to book, but I want to believe that some individuals with whom Auxiliary has previously made a deal with want him back in the organization, but he isn't given in, which accounts for numerous accusations. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're live.
My name is Caleb Alabi from Malaka Chevrolet.
Okay.
I just want to comment on the statement credited to Shehu Sani that Mr. President promised to lift 100 million people from poverty. But now 30 million has been added due to insecurity and energy. It's because the president refused to tackle the problem of insecurity, and instead of building the refinery, we are still importing. On the issue of the money is right. So it's right. Secondly, I want to commend the president for upgrading the salary and allowances of the judicial worker. I hope this one will support them to perform optimally and ensure quick rendition of justice. That's my comment this morning. Have a nice day.
All right.
Thank you, Caleb, for your submission there. Hossein Jumo.
Yes, I'm still with you. Somebody talked about state economy. It is federal economy that controls the state. That's the truth of the matter. There's really nothing so much under this current structure that the state can do in terms of running isolated economic policy without a conscious link with the federal government. That's just the truth of the matter. Someone also said that IU has not violated any law. Yes, we agree, but there was a gentleman agreement before the primaries of the PDP, and there was also a mention of it by the presidential candidate that now that he has emerged, one of the move for reconciliation was for IU to go. If we hold on to law, there's also a law in PDP that says that presidency should be rotated. That's just the truth. Nobody has said that IU is a criminal or whether he has committed any crime. We're only talking about Wike camp, not me. Wike camp is only looking at the issue of equity and fairness. They are only looking at it from a moral angle. But IU has not violated any law. If we want to go by law, there is a law in the PDP constitution
good morning.
that says that uphold the principles of it.
Austin, we have a call. Hello, good morning, dear caller.
Yeah, good morning. Ishola calling from Alexander Nikoyi.
All right.
You see, I want to make it clear. Someone called and said the state governors have duties to lift people out of poverty. Anyway, it may not be far from the truth, but the truth is the duty rests basically 80% in the hands of the federal government. Do we have any business importing fuel at all? Huh? When all these things that control prices, they are being held by the federal government. We get crude here, take it abroad, and use and look for foreign exchange again to bring it back. The prices of all these basic commodities control what we spend and what we do in our economy. The factories cannot operate well without energy. They are buying diesel at 800 naira. How do we expect what they are producing, the end products, to come cheap? Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you for calling the radio station 0705 5949 and 0809 7949. Those are the numbers to call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning.
I'm Kizon Audio from Ibadan. The NT'L report that says 1 million Nigerians. I'm even thinking the number should be higher than that. When you look at the ravaging poverty, people are angry and hungry in Nigeria. Yes, poverty did not start from the Buhari administration, but the fact remains that this administration, federal administration, has worked so hard to put more Nigerians into poverty. So this is why I will always be against those social intervention programs like children school feeding, spending 999 million every day on children that do not have access to basic education. And I've never even seen any of this school meal in Oyo State. So perhaps it's being concentrated in some northern states. Then social intervention programs are not just the way to lead Nigeria out of poverty. Our economy has to be stabilized. We have to move from a consuming nation to producing nation. Even the Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs budget is higher than educational work. Their budget for 2023. And in all of this, we are still becoming poorer. So the federal government should look forward and, of course, find a way of making us a producing nation than a consuming nation. Good morning.
All right, thank you for calling. 0705 500949 0809 700949. Those are the numbers to call, but let's get back. Okay.
To Facebook. Good morning. It is good as said. It is multi-dimensional poverty.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Olumide from Elele.
Okay.
It is true that we can have a cause. But one thing I want us to realize, as they started Matiku and Co, they have their issues with Jonathan. And they decided to form another party, call it, is it PDP, new PDP.
NPDP.
At the end of the day, they went to join APC. If anybody has any grudge against their party, let the G5 decide to form their own party, make the PDP, and look for where to join instead of staying indoors and destroying. And we need to consider something. Which was the engineer of this? We are not zoning. Let's throw it. Autumn too got himself involved. Autumn knew he's from Benue State. He came from the same local government as this chairman we are talking about. So he never thought of equality that time and what they say they are fighting for. So let them know the way to do their things. But I know the best will come out of Nigeria in 2023. Thank you.
All right. Let's get back on Facebook.
All right, good morning. It's good as said, the poverty is multidimensional. The poverty affecting Nigerians mostly is the poverty of the mind.
All right.
That's from Onobamiro Homotayo.
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Tayo. Can you please show back? What's our problem with PDP, APC having problems? We have many other political parties. Let's leave them alone and go and vote for another party that we know will help us. We are tired of PDP, APC. What's our difference with that? They should start fighting on streets. It's not our business. Have a nice time.
All right. Have a nice weekend too. Austin, the last caller made this point of not having only PDP and APC. Nigerians have several choices to make, right? About 18 political parties.
Yes, about 18 political parties. How many of them are strong? We are talking about 3 dominant presidential candidates now. That's the truth. So whether we like it or not, that's the choice we still have to make around this time. The only upcoming candidate that we can also look at is Peter Obi. So whether we like it or not, except we want to deceive ourselves, election is about 3 months away, and we are talking about other political parties. Do they have the structure? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the finance to be able to prosecute a campaign in order to gain power?
So you're saying,
power is not
so you're saying others are weak.
It's still between PDP and APC.
So you're saying others are weak. They are babies in the game.
Others are very weak. They are babies in the game. Even Labour Party that we are talking about, look at Peter Obi. He's trying to say, take the state, give me the presidency. You know, after winning the election, you now realize that you need states to also be able to function very well. States that belongs to your party or what have you. That's not the truth. How many states in the country, especially in the north, that even Labour Party has their foothold? That's the truth. So whether a lot of people don't want to believe this, do you think you and I, even those of us in the studio, are we really comfortable with the PDP and APC? They brought us to this mess that we find ourselves. Poverty that we are talking about is being replicated by every administration in the country. That's the truth. Both APC and PDP, they are both disappointment and failure as far as this country is concerned.
Austin, we have to go.
Have this narrow choice to make. That's the issue.
Austin, we have to go. Thank you for featuring on the Break of Dawn newspaper review this morning.
Thank you. At times,
thank you for having me.
Some of the stories we'll take kind of numbs your senses or numb your senses at the end of the day. You imagine the kind of things we come to analyze almost on a daily basis. and a way out seems so far to seek.
Tayo, just try as much as possible to wear a bulletproof on your mind like me. I always have this bulletproof, so anytime I see these stories, it'll move me.
We need to go. Thank you, dear listener, and enjoy your weekend. I am OLUTAYO. OGUNADE. Good morning.
I'm CHIKE OGBOGU. Join me by 9 a.m. on the program, The Podium, where we'll be looking at issues this morning. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.